That means you're live. I gotta tell these guys everything.
Where's the
Oh,
intro?
whoa. Oh no, we're doing this whole new thing first. So what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Running Gun Podcast. Tonight we have a special episode lined up for you. We have a guest with us, Miss Alison Posey from up in Tallahassee from what is it? WTXL?
TXL, ABC 27.
Awesome, and we are glad to have her with us today. She covers Florida State, FAMU, high school prep sports, everything. I mean, is that it, or is there more to that you cover?
Valdosta, we go 2 counties deep into Valdosta, so we're all the way to Valdosta State too. TCC, a little bit of everybody. We got a little bit of everybody. Little kids all the way up to college. It's a lot of fun.
Nice.
Shout out Valdosta.
Nice.
Half those
I
people
like
I'm
that.
related to.
Wintersville, best game ever.
That's cool. That's cool. Wait, where's the? I thought the intro was going to start.
It is.
I thought the.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is JP. This is the Bug.
This is JC.
This is Flash. This is Denny Hendricks.
And you are listening to
And you are listening to
And you're listening to
the Run and Gun Podcast.
All right. So, I love the introduction. Love it so much. First thing for tonight, first topic we got in here in this first quarter, guys, is the NBA. So Steph Curry went off for 62 points in a win against the Trailblazers. Is anybody surprised that Steph Curry finally got it together and woke up?
The man's
No,
a vet.
yeah,
It was only a matter of time. It's Steph Curry. He's going to drop them when he drops them. And I mean, you got to think too, this NBA season is weird. They had a very shortened off season, very shortened training camp. So you're coming off this grind of this big season where you are in a bubble. You got literally a couple weeks to kind of get ready, get things together. I like the cheer. This is sweet. I like this. Get things together, and then go right back into a new season. So you got to think of the toll that it takes on these guys' bodies. So yeah, only a matter of time.
True. I agree with that. Yeah, it's only
I couldn't have even
the
said
rest of
that
them need to
myself.
get healthy too. Yeah. The other thing too with the NBA is the Nets defense has resulted in their poor record. So basically, Steve Nash has said he's confident that the offense will find the rhythm, and it is more so the defense is lapsing in certain places, like offensive. Yeah, they're having defensive lapses, offensive rebounds. They lack that, and then they also are in trouble in the turnover department. They turn the ball over too many times, and they just lost KD for 7 days because he was exposed to someone that has COVID. So I mean, I feel like a lot of people had these high expectations for the Nets, and now it's kind of like at a rough point. But it goes back to what you said, Allison, where like the season just started basically, and everybody's trying to like find that rhythm still.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with the Nets, you have to remember too, you have a new coach in Steve Nash. You have KD and Kyrie Irving, who are coming off of injuries, so they haven't played. I mean, it's been how long? A year for Kevin Durant. Kyrie was hurt too, so you have them coming off of injuries to a new team under a new coach in a shortened off season. Of course, things aren't going to go right off the rip. I mean, it's common sense. I need this in my everyday life. Like, if I could just have somebody cheer for me all the time, that's fantastic. but I mean, seriously, I mean, you look at things. You have to look at things from that angle. I mean, we could go way back and talk about the Miami Heat when they created that dream team with LeBron going down to Miami. they weren't fantastic right off the jump too. It took them a couple years to kind of build up to that. This is a new team with guys coming off of injuries and a shortened season, again, with a new head coach. Give them a chance. Give them a chance. Give them some time.
I agree. Good job, Josh. You got anything?
Yeah. I was just gonna say, it's still early. Like, why are we still, worried so much about it? Like, you got to give
people got to freak out. You know this. People have to freak out over something.
Yes.
Well, that's how we get paid, right? But we get to argue about their overreactions. But I mean, it's still early in the season. I don't think we really have a full problem for them to be like, oh my goodness, blow everything up already. I mean, it's too soon for that. You have to go through the wash and let's see what happens. Especially,
yes,
they say that the season doesn't really start till after the All-Star break. So
exactly. It goes back to that thing that you just said about overreaction, because it happens in every sport. It happens in basketball. It happens all the time in the NFL. Happens in college football. Everyone thinks right off the bat their team's going to the NBA Finals or going to some championship, and then some type of adversity kicks in, reality strikes, and then everybody's like, "Oh my gosh!" Everybody's
what was
like,
that for?
yeah. Their season going down the drain.
I agree with you. I think the problem is people put these expectations up, and they have no idea how hard it is to actually live up to those expectations. People say, oh, Kevin Durant, huge star. Oh, Kyrie Irving, huge star. You should be able to marry these two together and have instant success. And that's not how athletics work. When you have a team and you have talented guys, they have to learn to play together. And again, heading into this year when things have been anything but ordinary, it's going to take time. And again, you have those guys coming off of injuries too. So they're still trying to get healthy, get back. And they've been training. I'm not saying they haven't been training, but they have to get back into that game rhythm, playing on a court, playing with four other guys. It takes time. And fan bases like to blow things up. And when things aren't, oh, we're not a championship contending team 5 games into the season, it's the end of the world. And it's not. Chill out, take a seat, take a breath, and things will happen. You just got to give it time.
Exactly.
I agree.
Temper your expectations. Go ahead
Bingo.
and look at the schedule and go, yeah, we're the 5th overall team in the division. That's what I want to hear right there. Yeah, halfway through. I mean, it's exciting. That's what fans do. Fans always hope that the best things always happen. I also am one of those fans. I mean, I'm a Seattle fan. I hope the Legion of Boom one day resurrects itself. It's what fans do, right? You have to expect the best. You expect the best from your team. You want the best for your team. Unfortunately, what comes from that is you watch them, and then that happens. Flush it for me.
You're not going to get it.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Well, there it is.
Season down the drain, and then you're expecting big things in next year. That's how Cowboys fans work. That's how Lakers fans work. The Celtics are a really big one. I have a friend who's a Celtics fan, and every year he tells me we're going to win.
This is the year. This is the year.
This is the year.
Fans, I'll say this, and we're all fans of programs, but fans are the worst. You have to take a seat, and you have to realize you just have to. Again, you have to just take a breath and think of all the other factors. These are athletes. Things are going to happen. And again, it's so early. Chill out. Pump the brakes. Everything's going to be okay.
Yep. I see that happen so much on Twitter, so many times, and I'm just sitting
Twitter's
there.
The worst.
Oh my gosh. And I'm just like,
Twitter is the worst.
Aren't we on
I'm
Twitter?
scrolling through. Yes, we are, by the way. We're on Twitter at Penalty Talk. Y'all go ahead and go follow us there.
Thank you, Twitter. We're not talking about you. We're talking about your
Twitter
rival
takes.
Twitter
Takes are the worst.
Yes.
Twitter is not the worst. Twitter takes are the worst.
Yes. I see some of these takes, and I'm just shaking my head. I'm just like,
Yeah.
y'all really got up and decided y'all was gonna go with that.
And it's always the people that don't have their real picture in the profile that like to hide behind the screen and just type away. If they have a fake profile picture, watch them. It's a bad take 99% of the time.
Speaking of bad takes, since we're in the final 2 minutes of this first quarter, I'm going to push you into who's winning this year for the NBA.
Are we really going there this early?
We're going there this early because you know what? Fans.
Wait, who did you say you're a fan of? Who did you say you're a fan of?
Oh, I did not stay a fan for the NBA.
Oh, okay. I was about to say we're gonna go with your team, right? So we can get those expectations way up high. Is that what we're going with?
Okay, I'll give you a team. Milwaukee.
No.
Oh.
I
you know, I kind of see where she's coming from, though. I do.
Who do you have?
For me, I'm like a Miami Heat fan. I'm a Miami Heat.
They gotta get rid of the jerseys, dude. Because those pictures that I'm seeing the other day, I saw some tweet. This was a good Twitter take. It was like when you crack your screen and it's got the blended colors, you know. I was like, whoever wrote that is a genius because that's what it looks like. You know, when you break the screen on your phone and it blends all those colors together, that's what those jerseys look like.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. You're talking about the Miami Vice jerseys. They're actually wearing them tonight. I was cool with the original. Like the black and the white Miami Vice jerseys. That one I was cool with, but like these ones, and then the court's kind of blended too. It's just it's gonna take a little bit of getting used to.
I can tell you're a professional. You pushed me off that question and changed it.
I did.
I see that. All right, so look, now we're in the NFL. This is my little spectrum here. So the playoffs are set.
Actually,
we're in the
NCAA.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Oh yeah.
We switched it up a little bit. So the first thing is actually, it's funny. We were talking about this before we got on here. Texas has fired Tom Herman after 4 years. Went 32-18. He was 4-0 in bowl games. Won one New Year's Six bowl against Georgia. But I think this was the one that kind of did him in. He was 1-4 against Oklahoma. Texas they've hired Steve Sarkisian. But something interesting I'm gonna share with y'all. I shared it before we switched to this format. So Texas and these unrealistic expectations is nothing new. Texas had a coach back in the 40s or the 50s. His name was Blair Cherry. He actually resigned from Texas, and Texas was number 3 in the country. They went 9-2. Give or take, it was health issues, but he said that the fans in Texas have these unrealistic expectations. They always expect national championships. And I just think it's funny because we were just talking about fans in the last quarter.
Yeah, I was going to say, are we going back to fan expectations? But it's funny that 60 some odd years later, 70 years later, that still holds true. Because if you read any article and you talk about anything, that Texas fan base and those boosters are some of the hardest to please.
Yes.
I mean, what Mac Brown did in Texas is unbelievable, and they were ready to boot him out the door. And I mean, they did. So that fan base is unbelievable. Being a coach, you got to have some thick skin if you're going to coach there, because they're going to come at you any which way.
I agree. They were talking about that on College Game Day. It's like they said the boosters are like, it's like an army of Jerry Joneses just coming at you. Like, why didn't you get a recruit or something? Like, it's crazy. I'm like, what? Like, I can understand if you miss out on a kid. Okay, it happens. But like, to say we got to get the best quarterback who's a 5-star in the state of Texas, and we don't get him because he goes to Oklahoma. It's like, come on. Like,
I think there's a fine line between the boosters and how much they should have an influence into the program. And I think that line is definitely blurred at Texas. I think that I'm not at Texas, so I don't want to speak for them, but there comes a point where you have to let the coach coach. And if there's too many voices trying to influence that coach, it makes your job hard. And I feel for coaches that are put into that position, whether it's at Texas or at any other school. That's a tough spot to be in because you go to a school to coach, and when you have those outside voices, it's rough.
I agree. Josh, you got
You're
anything?
waiting to wait. Jason, you're waiting to wait.
I've been biting my tongue this whole time.
Go ahead.
This is a great move.
I got soul, and I'm super bad.
And I'm going to say it, and everybody knows what's going to happen. Texas is back to the dumpster once again. I mean, you have a great coach in Tom Herman, right? But do you see what's going on over Eastern Way in Michigan? I mean, Jim Harbaugh's had his problems, but he's getting extended.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Tom Herman? I do not see an issue with Tom Herman, and it goes back to what you were saying. The boosters cannot be appeased with, I guess, one of the best in the country, or one of the best in the country. So Texas is back. I'm done. I'll try to keep it short.
Wow.
You've been waiting to say it. I saw you just squirming over there.
So the next thing we can hit on here is the national championship. Is actually no. Before I do that, I'm gonna talk about the Heisman Trophy. So the Heisman was given out last night. The finalists were Mac Jones, Kyle Trask, Davonta Smith, and Trevor Lawrence. Davonta Smith came away with it. Rightfully so, in my opinion, because it's the best player in the country, and he's now the third wide receiver to ever win the trophy. The first one was Tim Brown. The second one was Desmond Howard. So, I mean, how's everybody feeling about that?
I got soul, and I'm super bad.
I love it. I mean, I'm with you. I thought he was the clear-cut winner. I was surprised a little bit how the rest of the vote shook out. Trevor Lawrence took second, and I
saw that.
I don't really think Trevor should have gotten second. This is my opinion of the Heisman. I feel like the Heisman over the last 10-ish years, 10, 15 years, has become more of a popularity contest. I feel, and you can just see people talking about it. And again, I'm going back to Twitter and the Twitter takes, and not all of them are good. But a lot of people base the Heisman as a team award, and it's not a team award. It's never been a team award. It goes to college football's most outstanding player. And a lot of people said, "Oh, well, Kyle Trask doesn't even deserve to be in the conversation because he's lost 3 games." You could say he lost 3 games for the Florida defense. Florida defense ain't that good. It's not a team award, and I feel like the Heisman has lost some of that.
I agree.
I like you. I like you so much. We came on here and I got into an argument over this. I felt like Kyle Trask probably should have at least came in second, if not.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, he had himself one of the most wonderful years that we've seen, previous to Joe Burrow, of course. But his team lost it for him, and it's considered, I guess, a team award now. So, it's unfortunate.
And it shouldn't be.
It should not be.
I read an article today that I thought was pretty interesting, and just your take on it, that was saying that something that might have hindered Kyle back is that he never had a Heisman moment. So you talk about Lamar Jackson, Tim Tebow, they both won the Heisman with 3 losses. And they both ended up losing their bowl game, so they had a 4th loss. So they had Heisman moments, though. Lamar had like a 78-yard run against Florida State that people were like, well, that kid's really good. Tim Tebow did Tim Tebow things. Kyle Trask never had that kind of defining Heisman moment this year, and they were saying that might have held him back a little bit. I don't know. Again, I don't think it's a team award, and I think that's gotten lost.
I agree. That's spot on.
That was just somebody. That's not necessarily my opinion. That's an article I was reading today, and I was like, I could see that. But again, it's really hard not to look at the stats. His stats were overwhelming. And again, I'm not saying he should have beaten Davonta, but I also don't think he should have finished 4th in the voting. Mac Jones, anybody could suit up at quarterback with that offensive line in Alabama, with Harris at running back, with Smith at receiver, and have the stats that Mac Jones has. Kyle definitely should have been second, in my opinion. I'm with you, behind Davonta Smith in the voting.
I agree. I'm with you there. But since we got a 2-minute warning, now that we kind of
wrong sound effect.
Oh.
I'm about to say, what's the toilet flushing for? What did I say to warn that?
I was agreeing, yeah.
Yeah. So the national championship is slated for Monday, but it's rumored to be getting moved to the 18th. I don't understand what the whole thing is with that, with the Ohio State COVID test. I think it's just to get Justin Fields healthy. Davonta Smith in that last playoff semifinal had 7 receptions, 130 yards, and 3 TDs. I really didn't feel like Alabama cut the dogs loose. And then on the other side of Justin Fields, 22 of 28, 385 yards, 6 touchdowns. Here's my question with Justin Fields. Y'all think he should have been pulled, or at least he should have been better evaluated?
I'm not a medical professional. I never saw his x-rays. I don't know that discussion. I would imagine that he didn't want to be pulled and that conversation was had, but I also think Ohio State said, you know what, if we want a shot at winning, and they had all the momentum going in their favor, they needed to keep Justin Fields in the game, and he needed to stay in.
Yep.
But I will say this about Ohio State, and this is, I know we're down to the final 30 seconds here. In my Final Four, they were not in. And this national championship game better not get moved, because the Big Ten has already compensated them one time by shortening the amount of conference games they needed to play in to make the championship. And they better not change this national championship game, because that would be twice that they have catered to them, and it's ridiculous. Suck it up and play.
I got sold. That's how I would have hit. I'm super
Amen. Amen. Go ahead, put them out there, let them play. Personally, I want to see Alabama tear them up, but hey,
we'll see what happens. Justin Fields is a special quarterback and a special kid, but Alabama, they're a bunch of freaks. Alabama's just, they're ridiculous.
Truth.
What do we have now?
And that brings us now to the NFL. So the playoff field is now set. So for Saturday, we got the Rams. Oh, no. The NFC. The NFC side said it's the Rams and the Seahawks. And then the Bucks and the Redskins. And then you've also got the Bears.
Not the Redskins. The Washington football team. Let's be factual here.
You're right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
The
Washington football team and the Bucks. So the one thing I want to say is, so the interesting thing about that game, so teams with a losing record, because there's only been 2 that have ever made it up to now, those teams are undefeated in the opening round when they get into Wild Card Weekend. But at the same time, too, you had Chase Young, who ran his mouth, but I think it was more so of excitement because he is a rookie, who went out and just started blurting out, Tom Brady, I'm coming for you. So I'm just like, yeah. But same time, too, the Bucs are hitting his stride.
Yeah, I mean, you don't give Tom Brady any more bulletin board material. I mean, I get it. He's a little older. It's with a different team. The Bucs are the Bucs, but you don't give that man any extra fuel.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just curious to see how that Bucs offensive line is, because
you know what? I'm right there
with it. That is.
I'm with you.
I'm very intrigued to see how this front 7 is able to handle the Bucs offensive line and what Tom Brady is going to be able to do, because we know that Tom Brady is nullified by being on his back. So
I will say this. I'm confident in Tristan Wirfs. I'm confident in Ali Marpet. I'm confident in Ryan Jensen. I'm confident in Alex Kappa. But that dude at left tackle,
the last name,
Donovan Smith. Donovan Smith worries me. And lo and behold, Chase Young is going to line up on that side. So that's what worries me. So we'll see what happens. But JC, your Seahawks play the Rams, and Aaron Donald said that's exactly what they wanted.
Well, okay.
So hey,
you know what? I won't fault him for that because it's always very interesting whenever those two teams play. It's a very tough game. So I mean, yeah, it's what you wanted, but it ain't gonna have the outcome that you want. I feel like Seattle's starting to sort of hit a stride, even though you still have problems with the defensive end, and you still want to see more from that running game. But Russell Wilson, he's a freak. Doesn't matter. I still think it's too much. Plus, do we have any confirmation if Goff is playing or not?
I haven't heard
far?
anything.
I haven't seen anything. But this is the thing leading up to this. There's with COVID stuff, and I mean, you saw it with the Bears. I mean, having the issues that they've had. Kamara is going to be able to play now. They're saying, or maybe they kind of hesitant to say whether he would play or not because he still hasn't practiced this week. But with COVID, I feel like you can't count on anybody to be there or not be there because things can change like that. Drop of the hat.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, regardless, I feel that Goff gives them their best chance to win rather than Wolford. So I'm just going to say that. I'm not even going to say who's going to win because you already know. I'm done.
Challenge
Is he a fan or
flag.
not? I can't tell. I can't tell if he's a fan or not.
Challenge flag.
Who challenged me?
Oh, well, the producer challenged it. Oh, snap.
That's right.
Oh,
That's right.
So how does this work if the producer throws the flag?
you know what? I'd never seen this before, so I'm curious to see it happen myself.
Can we get a rule clarification here?
Yeah. Wait.
Well, he's muted for a minute. I believe the gentleman who came in last week who can actually move and doesn't have a bad wheel will give them the best opportunity to win. Jared Goff being a sitting duck this week would not give them the best opportunity to win. Because if they don't have a solid running game, if they're able to shut down the run, Goff can't get out of the way long enough to complete a pass. So that's crazy to say that Jared Goff, who's injured, gives you, does he have a bad ankle? Hopefully it's not a bad heart. I think it's just a bad ankle. But there's no way he gives him the best chance to win. But then again, this is coming from a Seattle fan, so I'll let him talk.
His face behind that flag says it all. Says it all. Does he get like a rebuttal now?
I'm not. No, I want to move on to the Baltimore.
I'm glad you said here because I was just about to jump over to the AFC side. So the AFC side, you got the Ravens and the Titans, you got the Browns at the Steelers, and you got the Colts and the Bills. So the Ravens are traveling to Tennessee this weekend against the same team that eliminated them last year, convincingly.
What you trying to say?
I mean, the Ravens, they're hot at the right time, but you still got to stop that man from Yulee, Florida, Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
You got to stop him.
Yeah, I think it'll be Tennessee's defense is going to have to come through and stop the Ravens too. That's kind of been their Achilles heel this year is that Tennessee defense. So Tennessee's offense, they're going to be okay, but it's going to be that defense to see if they can counteract and stop the Baltimore offensive attack.
I agree. Oh wait,
it's Lamar Jackson.
Guess? We got a guess?
Consistent passing.
Oh, no. You have to do that. You have to do that.
No matter what, still the issue with Lamar Jackson is still the consistent downfield passing. And yes, he has been obviously working on it, but I don't think it's still enough to beat the Titans and that bad man carrying the ball in the backfield because I really can't. I can't take it if they win now because he just challenged me like that. I think I'm letting my feelings get a hold of me right now.
What did Chris Berman say? And this is why they play the game.
Oh my God.
I think especially, again, you talk about playing the game this year too. This year is just so weird. Like to me, I didn't even think we'd make it this far. I'll be honest with you guys. I didn't think we would be talking
I
about the
agree.
NFL playoffs. I didn't think we would be talking about a college football national championship. I didn't think we would get this far. So the fact that we're here, you got to adjust with the COVID stuff. If a guy has to sit out a couple days, I mean, it is what it is. But the fact that they're even playing and we're even talking about an NFL playoff season, I'm good. Like, I'm just thankful we got to this point.
I
It's
agree.
an absolute miracle.
It really is, because I was saying it before the season even started. I was like, if we get to bowl season, if we
Yes.
get to the NFL playoffs, like I was like, what's going to happen? Like, is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? Like, then they expanded the playoff field, and lo and behold, like a 10-win team still didn't make it in. So thank God we got here. But the other thing too is, yeah, you got the other playoff games with the Browns and the Steelers. Speaking of which, the Browns are dealing with COVID, and then you got the Colts and the Bills. Yeah, I don't know how anyone can go up into Buffalo and win that during this time of the year.
No.
But the other thing too is we had a couple coaches get fired. Well, as you already know, Dan Quinn got fired and Bill O'Brien got fired, but also Anthony Lynn got fired. And even Doug Marrone and Adam Gase got fired. But I think
The Adam Gase thing, we knew that was coming.
yeah, Adam Gase, he had to go. I think that what you see with Ryan Tannehill may happen with Sam Darnold, possibly, because Adam Gase is out the way now. So now the Sam Darnold can grow as a quarterback. But that's my opinion.
So here's the real question. Does Urban Meyer make it in the NFL?
Ooh, you know what? Ooh. Ooh. I'm gonna leak that into the hot topics right now.
No.
Here's my theory. I feel like Urban Meyer, if he becomes the head coach of the Jaguars, a lot of people are saying, "Oh yeah, stop with the whole Justin Fields to the Jaguars talk. Trevor's the best quarterback." I feel like there's like some type of scheme there in the grand scheme of things, because they're talking about they're talking about Dabo too. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, I feel like whoever gets that job might determine who gets drafted there. So I feel like if it is Urban Meyer, there's a chance it could be Justin Fields. But if it's Dabo, and I don't know why Dabo would leave Clemson. Clemson's a machine right now. It would be Trevor Lawrence. So that's my thing. Although I think if Dabo were to go to Jacksonville, Clemson needs to try their hardest and throw as much cash at Brent Venables as possible to make him the head coach.
Yeah, I mean, he's already making $2+ million a year as a DC, so I feel like it wouldn't be that much of a pay raise to be promoted to head coach. But yeah, I mean, Urban in the NFL, I don't know. I was actually at the University of, I went to school at UF, and I was at Florida when he was the coach at Florida. So I was there for the glory years, got to cover the national championship. I don't want to hear it with the toilet, whatever. But it's just interesting to see if he could make it in the NFL, because you've seen so many fantastic college coaches try to make the transition, and it just doesn't work. So will the offense that he ran so successfully in college translate to the NFL? I don't know. And it's a different game running the players. It's easy to kind of control a college kid's life because they're there under scholarship. They're playing for you. You can't tell a man who's making millions of dollars a year what to do, because they make more money than you do. So that relationship is a little bit different in the NFL. So I would be interested to see if he could be successful in the NFL. I don't know.
True. Part of me thinks that he might like that desk at Fox Sports a little bit too much too.
Yeah, with all his health problems and stuff too. So a little bit safer to be on the desk and on the sideline.
True. And that brings us out to the next thing, the next hot topic that we were discussing before we came on here. 2020 football schedule is out for FAMU. So a couple key dates that we got here, there's 4 of them especially. You got September 5th against Jackson State in Miami. You got October 30th, which is homecoming against Grambling. And the interesting thing about that I found out is I think the university is going to be like broadcasting some of these games on YouTube TV, not YouTube TV, but live on YouTube, from what I've heard. And
That would
then
be
November.
awesome.
Yeah, I really hope so. I really
And
hope
it would
they
be
do
good too. We don't know what capacity is going to. I know we were talking about this too. We don't know what capacity is going to look like in the fall. So if fans are not allowed at full capacity inside Bragg, it's a fantastic way for people to still stay tuned and keep up with the game. If they have to have a TV out in the parking lot tailgating, it's a great way to kind of be at the game if you can't be inside the stadium.
Oh, yeah, I agree, most definitely. You got the other ones too. You got at Southern on November 6th, and then you've got against Bethune-Cookman on November 20th. And then, of course, I think 2 weeks later is the SWAC championship, because now we get to talk about conference championships now, and then I believe the Celebration Bowl is, I think, like December 18th or something like that. So I mean, I'm excited for this. I remember telling you earlier, like, I'm like, the year I go to grad school is the year that they make this transition, and it's a top flight schedule too. So now I'm just like, okay, I've already put in my mind. Labor Day weekend, I'm finding my way down to Miami Gardens. And then, Orlando's only like 30 minutes to an hour away from where I'll be going to school at. So I'm going to Orlando for the Florida Classic. I have to. But I'm going to miss homecoming, and I hate that. But it's all good.
Adulting sucks. Don't ever grow up.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
true.
with you though. We were talking about this schedule. It's definitely a much more natural schedule for them. It's a lot more local. You talk about money, and money is always an issue at any school, especially at an HBCU, but it doesn't cost as much to go to these games. And that was a big determining factor in them switching to the SWAC. I think at the end of the day, you're not having to charter flights. It's expensive to fly a football team. Fans now can travel more easy to games. And we were making fun of, what's in Jackson, Mississippi? I mean, it's closer, and fans can get in a car and make a trip out of it versus having to, I don't want to hear it, having to get on a plane or having to drive 10 hours to go to a game. I think the move to the SWAC, it made sense. It was long overdue. And I'm happy that it's going to happen. It's a lot of old rivalries in it too that I'm excited to see happen on this year-to-year basis.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. And the crazy thing about it too, like especially like games like Grambling, like everyone always talks about like the whole FAMU Southern rivalry and stuff. Like I'm one of those people that like, okay, I've seen enough. I don't want to do like undermine that rivalry, but it's like, okay, I've seen that so many times play out. Like I've seen it live and in person like 2 years ago.
That's such a good game. Oh, that was such a good game.
Right. Like I've seen them play Tennessee State like endlessly, like since like 2001. I've seen them play Jackson State already. Like the last time they played Grambling, like VHSs were like a hot commodity. Like I'm ready to see that in present day. Like I mean, and then of course like the Florida Classic's never gonna lose its luster in my opinion, but like I'm ready to see like FAMU and Grambling go at it and stuff. I say add a trophy to it. Possibly like name it somewhere like the Gaither Robinson Trophy or something like that.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Like
that would be cool.
I would love
like I
to
said,
see that.
I'm with you. And I know we've talked about this before, but I'm very excited for it. Again, I think it's long overdue. I'm happy for FAMU. I'm happy this is happening. I just cross fingers that this football season goes off without a hitch coming up.
True. I'm yeah. Hopefully it's full capacity. I mean. And the other thing, too, I was supposed to ask this question, what are the chances that you might see FAMU win a SWAC title in year one?
Wake up, JC.
I was saying, you got an opinion? You're just sitting over here kind of quiet. Your brain going?
I'm just here listening and
he's eye candy.
The information.
He's waiting to throw a flag is what he's waiting to do.
Yeah.
You're waiting to throw a flag.
Hold up, wait. Well, you know what? We might get a flag if I say this. I see this team assembling a lot of pieces, and I love this. I love what they're assembling. Like, honestly, a lot of people are going out there saying, Jackson State's got the best team on paper right now.
It's
Jackson
a new
State
coach and a new coaching staff. You can't ever say that. Again, we talk about fans with high expectations. It is a brand new team up there. Chill out.
Watch me.
But I'm with you with
Exactly.
FAMU. They return a lot of key pieces. Of course, you got to replace Ryan Stanley, but you've got guys to fill in at quarterback with experience. Willie
Right. You got
Simmons is a heck of a coach. They're going to be
exactly.
fine. They had that little bit of time before, obviously, practice was cut short, but he's going to have this team ready to go.
Exactly. Like me personally, like looking at this schedule, even still, a lot of people are saying like, watch out for the trap games. Like, you got Grambling and Southern back-to-back weeks, and then you got Arkansas Pine Bluff before the Florida Classic. But my thing is, if they really hit the accelerator and go and become a dangerous team, the ceiling is 10-1, and then at minimum, I see 7 or 8 wins at minimum. Like I really feel like a lot of people aren't expecting it, and a lot of people are joking around, laughing at it. But it wouldn't surprise me if they kicked the door in and just sat down in the SWAC's upper echelon seat. It wouldn't surprise me.
Did you say 10-1?
10-1 at best. Now hold up now.
Where's that one? Where's that one? No,
that one is
we're going. Yeah.
Oh no, that one.
It better not be who I think it is.
Before y'all get started, that one is against
They're
USF.
not losing the Classic again.
Right,
that ain't happening.
Throw the flag. Give me the
Throw
flag.
the flag. We got 44 seconds left. Whoa.
And I'm taking all of it. I cannot believe that of all the I was listening to this great conversation, and I was enjoying myself and just learning and just absorbing the situation. But I cannot believe that I just heard you say that their ceiling was 10-1 to USF. I believe we're from the same place, right? We see the same things, right? Didn't you go there? I don't think USF can, even though it may be a group of 5 team, I don't think that they're still good enough to just be counted off as a loss. Wow.
We'll see.
I feel so free. Oh my goodness. I feel so. Oh, he's still muted, so that's great. All right, so we're at our post game now. This was a wonderful show, right? I think we enjoyed ourselves a little bit.
Am I free now?
Yeah, I had fun. I'm glad you guys invited me on. I think we covered a lot of topics. I got my frustrations out with the Heisman and the playoff. I think I'm good for now.
See, we always want you to have a good experience.
Yeah, always.
We always want you to have a good experience because we want you to come back.
You are now
I'll accept
family.
the invitation. You guys are great.
And we have to say to you, after all that you've said and done,
I got soul and I'm super bad.
I think my favorite part about this whole experience is definitely the sound effects. I really need the clapping to follow me around my real life, because that would be so uplifting, Take a big swig of milk and, oh, great day, Allison. Have a great day. That's awesome.
Oh, snap. We forgot. So anyway, thanks for joining us on the Run and Gun podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify, Twitter, Instagram. Email us if you have a problem. And I'm JC. He's
Follow
JP.
Allison.
Follow Allison, and have a wonderful day.
I'm holding it. How do we follow Allison?
Yeah, y'all follow Allison on Twitter.
Twitter, it's at Alison Posey 14. I'm a 1L Allison. Don't put 2 L's in there. ALISON POSEY 14.
All right. Anything else?